Hi everyone, and welcome to Montgomery County's virtual mental health fair. Today we're going to be sharing information about dating violence. My name is Melinda Bellafiore.
And I'm Janice Campbell, and we're both school psychologists with Montgomery County Public Schools. It may seem irrelevant that we will be talking about dating and dating violence during the middle of a pandemic. However, people, including teens, still have a desire for social connections. For some persons, this pandemic has even heightened their desire to be in a relationship. Whether your teen was in a relationship prior to COVID or have since started exploring a relationship with someone new, Goldie Wright, a licensed marriage and family therapist at Sharp Mesa Vista Hospital, offers the following advice in her article titled Teen Love in the Time of Coronavirus. First, she recommends that parents or adults give teens space to have private video or phone calls. However, you do want to set guidelines around what time they're making these calls, the length of the calls, and what behaviors they're engaging in. Make sure they're engaging in healthy communication and not sexting. That's sending or receiving or forwarding sexually explicit messages or images by phone or computer, or using substances during the call. Discuss ways that your teen can stay connected and have fun just beyond seeing each other. Things like handwriting and sending letters and cards to each other's, sharing old photos, playing a trivia game, having a conversation game with a series of get to know you questions. All of that can be done during a video call. Yet they can also have a movie watch party and discuss it as they watch, or play a multiplayer video or online game together. It's important that you talk to your teen about appropriate ways they can engage in social media. Go through and help delete unhealthy accounts and encourage them to start following healthy and positive people. Have an open mind and be there to support your teen. This is how they trust that they can come to you for both the comfortable and uncomfortable stuff. Listen, validate their feelings, and reassure them that things will improve and they will be together in person again. And all of that is great advice, but what happens if your teen pushes back when you try and encourage social distancing? Dr. Claire McCarthy from Harvard Health Publishing offers the following tips for parents when teens start pushing back. You want to make sure that your teen is fully educated about the problem. Point them to good sources of data. So like the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, or the CDC, where they can get a lot of good information about the virus and how to stop the spread of the virus. And it's important that you point out to your teen that while young people don't seem to get as sick from the virus, one, there's no guarantee, and two, even people with mild illness or illness without symptoms or people are asymptomatic can spread the virus to others, such as others in their home. If they don't want to listen to you, encourage others that they might be more comfortable listening to, like their doctor or another adult they can trust. Help them think through ways they can connect with friends without seeing them in person. And there are lots of ways to use tech to do this, and we just spoke about some of those ways. Help them think about other ways to pass their time and help make those things possible. Maybe there's a privilege they can earn during this period or some other way to make it worth their while. Acknowledge that it is hard for their mental health and talk about ways that they can manage this. There are other activities, and one of the important things is also building their own skills, finding things that they enjoy doing and doing that they can do at home alone. It's also important that parents set a good example. So don't do any socializing yourself, or your teens won't trust you. If the adults in their life are going out and socializing, it will be hard for them to trust that they need to stay home and not socialize with their friends. Reach out to the parents of their friends just to be sure that everyone is on the same page. You want to set rules and enforce them. If your teen goes out, there should be a consequence. And ultimately, that is just part of being a parent.
Thank you, Janice. So now we're going to switch gears a little bit and talk a little bit more about dating violence in general and a little bit about the data. So what is teen dating violence? So essentially, it's a type of partner violence that occurs in a close relationship. Today, we're going to talk about 4 different kinds. The first one is physical violence. This is when a person hurts or tries to hurt a partner by applying physical force. So this could be something such as hitting or kicking. Next is sexual violence. This is forcing or attempting to force a partner to take part in either a sexual act, a sexual touching, or a non-physical sexual event, such as sexting. This happens when a partner does not consent or cannot provide consent. Next is psychological aggression, and this is the use of verbal or nonverbal communication with the intent to harm another person mentally, emotionally, and or exert control over the other person. And finally, stalking. This is a pattern of repeated and unwanted attention and contact by a partner that can cause fear, concern for their own safety or the safety of someone close to the victim. Given the times that we're in today, it's important to note that dating violence can take place both in person and virtually, such as repeated texting or posting sexual pictures of a partner online without consent. It's also important to remember that unhealthy relationships can start early and last a lifetime. Teens often think that some behaviors like teasing or name calling are normal, a normal part of a relationship, but these behaviors can become abusive and develop into serious forms of violence. Next, we're going to be talking about the prevalence of dating violence in the United States, and this is based on the CDC's 2020 census. So here it says that nearly 1 in 11 female teens and about 1 in 15 male teens reported experiencing physical dating violence in the last year. About 1 in 9 females and 1 in 36 males, 6 male high school students reported experiencing sexual dating violence in the last year. 26% of women and 15% of men experienced intimate partner violence for the first time before the age of 18. This is all critical information to take in and reflect on. Dating violence happens young, and because of technology and our access to and children's access to social media, these are all different avenues from which dating violence can occur. And so it's extremely important that we continue to monitor and teach our children and our students about proper ways of communication, and also informing our families when something doesn't seem or feel right. So now we're going to switch gears a little bit and talk about warning signs. So how do you know if your child or someone that you know is experiencing something like dating violence? And so some of the signs are extreme jealousy or insecurity, constant belittling or put downs, explosive temper, physical inflicting pain or hurt in any way, repeatedly pressuring someone to have sex, telling someone what they can and cannot do, possessiveness, making false accusations, isolation from family and friends, and checking cell phones, emails, or social media without permission. Violence in an adolescent relationship sets the stage for problems in future relationships, including intimate partner violence and sexual violence, perpetration and or victimization throughout life. For example, youth who are victims of dating violence in high school are at a higher risk for victimization during college. And so more specifically, what are these consequences and what do they look like? And so teens who are victims of dating violence are more likely to experience symptoms of depression and anxiety, engage in unhealthy behaviors like using tobacco, drugs, and alcohol, exhibit antisocial behaviors like lying, theft, bullying, or hitting, and finally, thinking or talking about suicide. How to prevent teen dating violence. So first and foremost, we want to make sure there's a sense of connectedness to family and as well as other adults. We want to increase their ability to discuss problems with parents. We want to give them the perception that parental expectations for school performance are high. We also want to share in frequent activities with parents. We want youth involvement in school activities, commitment to and involvement in school, and finally, consistent presence of a parent during at least one of the following: when awakening, when arriving home from school, during evening meal times, and when going to bed. Having those check-ins are very important. And then just as a reminder, and so as we are currently navigating this pandemic, and as students continue to express their desire to want to date, and making sure that we're being consistent with following the CDC guidelines. We just want to make sure that that our students are being careful when they are engaging, whether in person or socially distancing with others. And these include things such as washing their hands often, avoiding close contact, covering their mouth and nose with a mask when around others, cover coughs and sneezes, cleaning and disinfecting often, and also making sure that that they're monitoring their health daily. And then finally, here are some resources for individuals that you may know, or if you're experiencing dating violence that are in the community. A lot of these resources are free and available now if you needed to reach out. And there are also some additional resources that are on a sliding scale. And there's also some resources here that have a crisis line in the event that you needed something more immediate.
Okay, thank you, Melinda. So that's our presentation about dating violence and dating during this time of coronavirus. If you have any further questions, remember your school counselors are available, and us as school psychologists are available to support you and your teen as you navigate this time. Thank you.